Imagine this. You're in a room full of people, and while everyone is busy talking over each other, one person listens intently. They're not just hearing, but truly absorbing what's being said. That person stands out. Why? Because in a world obsessed with being heard, listening is the ultimate superpower. Listening isn't passive, it's transformative. It builds trust, deepens relationships, and even enhances your personal growth. This simple act could be the key to unlocking better communication, stronger connections, and a more fulfilling life. The secret to changing your life isn't in saying more, it's in saying less and listening more. Welcome to Lean On Me, your gateway to timeless wisdom. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications so you don't miss out on life-changing hacks rooted in ancient and modern philosophy. We're on a mission to bring balance, wisdom, and calm to modern life, but we can't do it without your support. Help us grow by sharing these powerful insights with your friends, family, and anyone seeking a path to wisdom and knowledge. Thanks for being part of this journey. Silence is golden. How many of you have ever been in a situation where you said something and immediately wished you hadn't? Maybe it was at a family gathering, or perhaps during an important meeting at work. You know, like that moment when your brain is saying, "Don't do it," but your mouth is already halfway through the sentence. Now flip that. How many of you have ever sat in silence, knowing you should speak up but let the moment slip by? Later, you replay it in your mind, thinking, "Why didn't I say something?" Here's the truth. Life is a constant balancing act of knowing when to speak and when to listen. And wisdom? Wisdom is mastering that balance. Today, we're going to explore why this is so powerful, not just in life, but in business too. By the end of this talk, I promise you'll walk away with a tool that can transform your conversations, relationships, and even your career. Sound good? Let's start with listening. Listening is one of the most underrated superpowers. But here's the catch. Most people don't listen. They're just waiting for their turn to talk. Big difference, right? Here's a quick exercise. Think about the best conversation you've ever had, one that left you feeling energized, valued, or even inspired. Now, ask yourself, what made it great? Chances are, it wasn't just what the other person said. It was how well they listened to you. Active listening isn't just about hearing words. It's about understanding the emotions, the intentions, and the unspoken messages behind those words. In business, this skill can be a game changer. For example, imagine a sales meeting. Instead of pushing your agenda, what if you spent 80% of the time listening to your client's needs? You'd not only close more deals, but you'd also build trust. And trust is priceless in any relationship. I once worked with someone who was a genius at listening. Let's call him Mike. Mike could sit in a boardroom filled with people throwing ideas around, and he'd hardly say a word. But when he did speak, everyone stopped. Why? Because Mike's words always hit the nail on the head. He listened so deeply that when he spoke, it wasn't just to fill the air, it was to improve the silence. And isn't that what we all want? Think thrice before you speak once stresses the importance of careful thought before speaking. Now, let's talk about speaking. Speaking up can be just as important as listening when it's done at the right time and for the right reasons. But here's the kicker. Most of us don't struggle with speaking. We struggle with knowing when to speak. Here is a proverb. As the saying goes, a closed mouth gathers no foot. This is a humorous take on the well-known idiom, to put one's foot in one's mouth, which means to say something embarrassing, inappropriate, or tactless. Essentially, this saying suggests that by staying silent or refraining from speaking unnecessarily, one avoids the risk of saying something foolish or regrettable. Here's the rule of thumb. Speak only if it adds value. This doesn't mean you should be silent all the time. It means asking yourself, is what I'm about to say helpful, kind, or necessary? If the answer is no, maybe it's better left unsaid. Think about your personal life for a moment. Have you ever found yourself in a heated argument with a close friend, partner, or even a family member, where no matter what, you just couldn't let it go? The conversation spiraled as you felt compelled to get the last word in, convinced that if you just said one more thing, you'd win the argument or finally get them to see your point of view. But instead of solving anything, things only seemed to escalate. The words got sharper, the tone got louder, and and suddenly, what started as a minor disagreement became a full-blown conflict. How did that work out for you? The need to have the last word often stems from a mix of emotions: frustration, a sense of injustice, or simply the need to feel heard and validated. In the heat of the moment, it can feel like that final remark will put everything to rest or cement your position as right. But more often than not, it backfires. Instead of diffusing tension, it pours gasoline on the fire. Relationships thrive on mutual respect and understanding, not on a verbal tug-of-war to see who gets the final say. Imagine this scenario. You're arguing with your partner about something small, like forgetting to pick up groceries. What starts as an explanation quickly turns into defensiveness. You find yourself saying, "Well, maybe if you reminded me earlier, this wouldn't have happened." They fire back, "Why do I always have to remind you?" The next thing you know, you're in a battle over who contributes more to the household, who's more responsible, and who works harder. What's worse is that by the end of the argument, you can't even remember what started it in the first place. That feeling of escalation, where each side digs in deeper, unable to let go, often leaves both people feeling unheard, resentful, and emotionally drained. Even if you do get the last word, it rarely feels as satisfying as you imagined. Instead, there's often a lingering sense of guilt or regret for letting things get out of hand. Quick pause. Enjoying the content? Help us reach more people by sharing this video or recommending our channel to a friend. Your support is what makes this channel possible. In contrast, think about times when you paused, really thought about your response, and chose your words carefully. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. In business, speaking up can mean sharing an idea in a meeting or challenging the status quo. But here's the trick. If you've listened well first, your words will carry 10 times the impact. So, how do we strike the right balance between speaking and listening? Here's a 3-step formula I've found incredibly helpful. 1. Pause before you speak. Before jumping in, take a breath and ask yourself, does this need to be said? Does it need to be said by me? And does it need to be said now? 2. Listen like you'll be tested on it. When someone is speaking, imagine you'll have to repeat back everything they said. This forces you to stay present and truly understand their point of view. 3. Speak with intention. When you do speak, aim to be clear, concise, and impactful. Don't ramble, make it count. Like the great Dalai Lama once said, when you talk, you are only repeating what you already know, but if you listen, you may learn something new. And let's not forget, sometimes a little humor goes a long way in making wisdom stick. Have you ever met someone who talks so much, you start wondering if they get paid by the word? You know, like that one coworker in every office meeting who's still talking while everyone else is packing up to leave. Don't be that guy. Wisdom is knowing when to listen and when to speak. Listening builds trust. Speaking at the right time builds respect. Combine the two, and you become a person of influence, someone others want to follow, whether in life or in business. How can listening transform personal and professional relationships? Listening transforms relationships by fostering mutual respect, trust, and empathy. In personal relationships, active listening can prevent misunderstandings and deepen emotional intimacy. When you truly hear your partner or friend, you validate their experiences and create a safe space for open communication. This not only strengthens the bond, but also helps resolve conflicts more effectively. In professional settings, listening is key to effective teamwork and leadership. It allows you to understand the needs of colleagues and clients, provide thoughtful feedback, and encourage innovation by considering diverse ideas. Leaders who listen inspire loyalty and motivate their teams to perform better. Additionally, active listening minimizes errors caused by miscommunication and ensures tasks are completed accurately. What are the main barriers to effective listening, and how can they be overcome? The main barriers to effective listening include distractions, preconceived judgments, and the tendency to focus on responding rather than understanding. External distractions, such as noise or multitasking, can prevent you from fully engaging in a conversation. Internal distractions, like stress or preoccupation with your own thoughts, also hinder listening. To overcome these barriers, practice active listening techniques, such as maintaining eye contact, summarizing key points, and asking clarifying questions. This helps you stay focused and signals your interest in the speaker's words. Additionally, cultivate a mindset of empathy by suspending judgments and seeking to understand the speaker's perspective before formulating your response. Here's my promise and reward. Start practicing this balance today, and you'll see a difference almost immediately. Your relationships will deepen, your career will flourish, and you'll find more peace in your daily interactions. So, ask yourself, where in your life, right now, do you need to listen more? And where do you need to speak up? The answer might just change everything. Wise men speak because they have something to say, fools because they have to say something. So, let's be wise. Speak when it improves the silence. When you stop talking and start listening, you discover the true power of silence. Listening allows you to gain valuable insights, forge meaningful relationships, and communicate with empathy and authenticity. It's not just about hearing words, it's about understanding the person behind them. By embracing the art of listening, you create opportunities for personal growth, strengthen your bonds with others, and ultimately, change the course of your life. So the next time you feel the urge to dominate a conversation, pause, listen, and watch the magic unfold. After all, sometimes the loudest voice is the one that chooses silence.